Hi, my name is Quentin Hale. I'm going to be doing my investors pitch presentation today for communication class 3352. I'm from Merkel, Texas, and I'm a management major. My presentation today is going to be over the beef industry, which is massive. There's over 1 billion cattle worldwide, and primarily the carbon emissions that come from cattle, which can make up to 10 to 15% of the greenhouse gas in the US. I'm going to briefly get into the background of agriculture, which was developed approximately 10,000 years ago. It's responsible for the growth of civilization. Before this, people were more nomadic. They couldn't stay in one place. They had to follow the food until they could farm it themselves. And today, it helps feed upwards of 10 billion people per year, and there's over 650 million acres of cow pasture in the US. I'm going to briefly cover how expensive it is to raise and then sell these cows. Roughly $700 per cow per year to feed them using the standard hay, which is $125 to $150 per ton per bale of hay, depending on the quality. The product that I am bringing to the table today is this red seaweed that I'm doing research on. And the seaweed is very high dense in nutrients, and it can be beneficial to the cows in more ways than one. And since there was 30 billion pounds of beef consumed in 2021, I feel like it'd be a good to get ahead on the curve. And reading on high nutrient seaweed, it sees that it could save $40,000 to $87,320 per year, depending on how much seaweed the cattle use. Um, Using a high energy diet, they don't have to eat as much food, so you would be saving on the end in the long term on feed. And that quote was from Wisconsin Farmer. It was said on March 19th, 2021 by Ermias and Brianna Rogue. So what is this red seaweed? It's Asparagopsis, and there's 35 million tons of it worldwide, but China and Indonesia own 90% of the production. It's high in proteins and nutrients, and whenever grass grazers eat it, it helps with the carbon emissions and their digestion. The entire planet has grazers. For example, supplementing 2% of the cow's diets with seaweed can reduce up to 90% of the methane production. So using just 2% of this seaweed can reduce the cattle's methane levels by up to 99%. And I got that quote from Trevor Whittington on LinkedIn, and he said that January 5th, 2022. So they can vastly reduce emissions, but we just don't produce enough of it right now for it to be cost efficient. But since there's plenty of ocean to go around and the only production of it right now is out of country, we could be producing this now and save plenty and be able to save the environment on methane and CO2 emissions. So my proposal for how to fix this problem is that we invest more in seaweed farms and we raise awareness for carbon emissions. If we could influence the government help to maybe pass some bills or some taxes, then we could be able to afford to invest more in the production and distribution of the supplements and maybe make a difference worldwide. I took some numbers from Australia, which is in the current process of trying to adapt this, and it would cost 132 to 1.6 bill to be able to make 100% adaptable for cattle feed supplements. And right now, if they were to adapt it, it would make produce from cattle go up 20%, like beef and dairy, to be able to make up for the cost of feed. But by the time that it could be done, we could have zero emissions by 2050, and that was pulled from Beef Central, and that was set on October 4th, 2022. In conclusion, everybody wants to do the right thing, and it feels good to be aware of the environment. So this is a clear way we could drop 10% of the cattle emissions. We would just need to produce more of the seaweed to make it more sustainable and more affordable so that the cost of produce wouldn't have to rise so drastically. Thank you for watching my presentation. I hope that this brought light to some issues that I feel like we could fix, but we just would need some government intervention to be able to afford it. Thank you.